Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So when I do true crime videos, I'm normally not in this, good of a mood when starting them, but I have something so awesome to tell you guys. And I'm sure so many of you have heard the news already, but I just covered a case recently, like last week. So like a week ago on Jayme Closs. We did a Where Is video on Jayme Closs, who had been missing since October 15th. But we never want to lose hope. With cases like this, it's so important to hang on to hope. And I'm so excited to tell you guys, as I'm sure many of you already know, Jayme Closs has been found and reunited with her family. So I am here today to do an updated found video on Jayme. Now, don't get me wrong, this is still a really, really sad case. It's extremely disturbing what she went through. This is in no way a good thing, but at the same time, this is one of the better case scenarios. Jayme is alive, she's okay, and she could have been through even worse than what she went through. So I feel so happy to see a somewhat good ending to such a terrible, tragic story. So if you didn't catch my last video, on October 15th, someone entered the Closs family home, shot James Closs in the doorway, who is Jayme's dad, killed Denise Closs, who is Jayme's mother, and took Jayme Closs. Now, when we first talked about it, we thought maybe Jayme could have done it. Doubtful. But anyway, some people were thinking that. There were thoughts that maybe Jayme had a secret boyfriend. We talked about human trafficking. It turns out it was none of those things. And this was a very, very bizarre and targeted event. Now again, as amazing as this is and how happy I am that Jayme's home, it doesn't minimize how truly horrible this story is. I mean, this is really a nightmarish story of what Jayme went through, and I almost want to let you guys know in advance that this is very upsetting. So we found out that on the night that Jayme was abducted, she actually woke up because she heard her dog barking. And she got out of bed, went to the window, and she saw a man's car pulling up into the driveway. So that's when she went and she told her parents. And James Closs, her dad, went to the front door to see what was going on, and someone was standing at the front door on the other side, and he asked, where's your badge? He thought maybe it was a police officer. And as soon as he did that, this guy shot the door, shot the handle, and got into the house, opened the door. As soon as he entered the house, he shot James Closs. Now at this point, Jayme was hiding in the bathtub with her mother. Very, very, very scary to think about what this would be like. As soon as she heard the gunshot, she knew that her father was killed. Jayme's mom had actually called 911, as we thought. And then the defendant, who I'm just gonna call the defendant for now, I will say his name, but I only want to say it once. For the most part, I'm gonna refer to him as the defendant. But he came in and he ordered her mom to put tape over her mouth, which she did, and he got Jayme, tied her up, and then he shot her mom, and then he grabbed Jayme and quickly left the house. Now, I cannot imagine what this must have been like for Jayme, having to leave her parents in that condition and go with this stranger who she didn't even know. Jayme said that he was dressed in black from head to toe. He was wearing a face mask, hat, and gloves, and he was using a gun that he had borrowed or taken from his dad. The defendant taped her all up, made it so that she could barely move, and then pretty much dragged her out to the car and put her into a trunk of a red four-door car. After he put her in the trunk, they drove away. Now this just infuriates me thinking about all those neighbors who said that they heard a shot in the middle of the night, but said that they thought it was someone hunting. Like, what the hell? It's the middle of the night. No one is hunting. And imagine if they had called. They could have gotten him in the driveway. It's really, really, truly pisses me off thinking about it. So Jayme thinks that she was in the car for about 2 hours before they got to the defendant's house. When they got to the house, the tape was removed from her arms, her ankles, her mouth. And after that, Jayme was forced to go in his bedroom and take off all her clothes because he wanted to get rid of all of the evidence. Now, one thing that is so strange about this, and I will say, it's so early on, it's been about a week since she was, found and stuff. So there's still a lot of holes in the story, a lot of things that aren't making sense here. But from what I have read, I have not seen anything that said he sexually assaulted her, sexually abused her in any way, which is so weird to me because every single case I've seen of girls being abducted, that is the sole purpose for the person who's taking them. They're like pedophiles or something. But I mean, there was no charges against him, unless they were trying to keep it secret, or I don't think anything happened. It was not in the criminal complaint. So I think he just literally took her for, I don't know what reason. He took Jayme's clothes, put them in a bag, and threw them out. He made Jayme hide under the bed in his bedroom. And basically in his bedroom, his bed was in the corner of the room. And he stacked like totes and laundry bins with like weights, like for barbells, stacked against him so that she couldn't move. So like if she did, he would be able to detect if she had moved at all. Jayme did state that at one point she actually did accidentally move one of these totes, and he knew that she did it, and he told her that if she does it again, there would be really bad punishment. So she was like petrified to go anywhere, and she was stuck under this bed. Jayme said that sometimes the defendant would have friends over, random family members, even his dad came over at times, and he just made it really clear to her that she was not to be seen, and that if anyone found out that she was there, really bad things would happen to her. And I mean, she's petrified. She saw her parents get murdered. She doesn't know what this guy's capable of. In order to hide Jayme, he would turn on music in his room so that it would muffle any sounds. And I'm not sure like how often she was able to come out from under the bed, but he did make her be under there quite a lot. Anytime he would leave the house, she would have to be under the bed. One time he was gone for 12 hours because he went to Superior to visit one of his family members for Christmas. And she was forced to stay under there with no bathroom breaks, nothing to eat, just stuck under there. And he warned that if she moved at all, or if she went to the bathroom, she would get in serious trouble. And like I said, his father would come over, and his father seriously had no idea. They are shocked by this and just horrified, but they would come over and he would have the music on, and this was normally Saturday afternoons, and she'd be stuck under the bed. He'd have no idea. And one time she said that he got really mad at her and ended up hitting her with something that she described as like a duster for the windows. So I don't know, maybe like a Swiffer type thing, like smacked her with it. She says that it was really painful, but she doesn't remember what she did on that specific occasion to make him mad. But she said that he told her that if it happened again, the punishment would be way worse next time. So she was pretty petrified to do anything or make any moves to get out of there. But then last week on January 10th of 2019, the defendant left his house and said that he was going to be gone for about 5 to 6 hours. Jayme was forced to go under the bed like she normally was when he would leave. But after he left the house, Jayme was able to push the bins with the weights in them away from the bed and crawl out from underneath. She put on a pair of his shoes and walked right out of the house. And she started walking towards the road when she saw a woman walking her dog, and she went running up to her, screaming that she was, held captive in someone's house. She said, "I am Jayme Closs," and she told her that a man named Jake Patterson had taken her.
She was crying and said, "I need help. I don't know where I am. I'm lost. Please help me." As I got closer to her, she just kind of grabbed onto me because it's really icy, and she said, "I'm Jayme."
So the woman took Jayme to the closest house, and they called 911 and reported that they had found Jayme Closs.
Douglas County 911.
Hi. I have a young lady at my house right now, and she says her name is Jayme Closs.
Okay, what's your address?
It's in Gordon, Wisconsin.
Okay, have you seen her photo, ma'am?
Yes, it is her. I 100% think it is her.
Are you okay?
100%.
Does it look like she's gonna run?
No, she's sitting down. She's relaxing.
Okay, did she show up walking?
Yeah, a neighbor just walked up with her to our house and asked us to call 911.
Okay, hang on just a second.
Are you cold? Do you need a blanket or anything? Okay. Do you need anything to drink or water or anything? Have you watched this show, Lincoln? It's their favorite. This is my son Lincoln. That's why we like Lincoln Loud.
Kristen, I'm going to keep you on the line, okay?
Okay, yep, sounds good.
Kristen, is the neighbor that walked her up, is she still there?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
She's
Can you ask the neighbor, did the female just walk up to her house, or how did she come across her?
Hold on 1 second. She wants to know where she came from, how you got her, etc. Okay. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to pass you over to her. Okay, hi. I was walking my dog, and we were almost home, and she was walking towards me, crying, saying, "You got to help me, you got to help me." I didn't want to go into my cabin because it's too close to Patterson's house.
And she said her name is Jayme Closs?
Yep. And when I walked into this house, they recognized her immediately from closer.
Okay. I have many deputies headed that way. I'm going to keep you on the line.
Okay.
And she said, "I am Jayme Closs."
Yes. said, he killed my parents. I want to go home. Help me.
And what was the male's name?
Jake? Is it Jake? Jake Patterson? Jake Patterson.
Does she seem like she's going to need medical attention at all?
I would think yes.
Okay.
I was a social worker for 30 years.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, what do you think is her medical condition right now?
Well, I think shock and cold and
okay.
Shock.
Yep, just try and speak very calm.
Okay.
And just if she feels, just don't try to push her too much.
No, we're not.
No, I want her to get a roll at the stage. I'm sure we'll want that anyway.
Okay, ma'am, just stay on the line with me. Does she seem comfortable right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have her wrapped up in a blanket.
Okay, perfect. What was she saying to you?
I was just asking her if she was afraid, and she said no.
She did. Okay, good. Well, you guys are doing a good job of keeping her comfortable.
And you're doing a good job of keeping us calm.
Well, that's why we're here.
I know you've done a lot. Can you try to get a suspect vehicle description in case we see them?
Yep, Jake, and you said the car that Jake drives, did she tell you it's a red...
Car, right? Is that what you said? Do you know what kind of car? She has no idea. Okay, somebody's here.
Okay, wait a minute.
It's a police officer, though.
You can see?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Good job.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And when detectives arrived, they immediately took Jayme to a safe, undisclosed location because they found out that the defendant was actually out looking for her. But at this point, Jayme had been missing for 88 days.
Good morning and thank you for being here on this amazing day. For 88 days, I have stood before you and said we would work tirelessly to bring Jayme Closs home. Today, I can report we have done just that. At this moment, Jayme is being in the comforting embrace of law enforcement as the investigation in her 3-month ordeal ensues.
We've seen her face a lot, so I knew it was her the second she walked in the door.
They described Closs as skinny and dirty, her hair matted. She was wearing shoes that were too big for her feet. Her emotions pretty flat.
I was in a bit of shock and disbelief. She's obviously been through a lot.
Her aunt and uncle speaking to NBC affiliate CARE on the phone after they heard the news.
I'm shocked. We've had so much bad news. It's what we've prayed for every single day for the last 87 days.
It's just unbelievable, and we're all just so grateful and happy.
Let it be. At last, the hopes and prayers of this small town have come true.
I think this will bring a lot more peace to everyone.
I would imagine people all around the country are reaching out to you.
I cannot believe all the things people want to do. If we had some of Denise and James's clothes that they could get because they want to make Jayme a quilt.
Hairdressers that we know that have offered, bring Jayme in whenever you need to. You know, we'll clear out the salon. We'll do her hair. We'll do her
after
nails.
hours. Yeah, so
yeah,
she
we'll do her.
to.
I mean, people are just giving and giving and giving. It's just incredible.
Was the first one she gave a hug to. I was standing in my daughter Jennifer's hallway and she come up to me and give me a big hug and I give her a big hug.
They're all just so happy that you are back.
Her friends posting a video to the Light the Way Home for Jayme Facebook page.
It's expected that not everything will be easy from now on, and it's okay, Jayme, because so many people support you.
Jayme's Aunt Jen, who is now her legal guardian, commenting, Jayme loved seeing this. It put the biggest smile on her face. Jayme's family now trying to stay strong for her as she adjusts to her new normal.
Just be patient and take each day as it comes.
Apparently, the defendant had gone back to the house, realized that Jayme had left, and he actually saw footprints leaving the house. So that's when he went out to look for her. And while he was driving around looking, deputies were also driving around looking for a car with the description matching him. So the deputy that was actually taking Jayme to a safe location was traveling along the western side of the loop of Clare Acres Circle, northbound to County Highway Y, when she observed a vehicle approaching eastbound on the highway and then turned south onto Clare Acres Circle. So she instantly notified their team and a license plate, and it came back to Katie Patterson, the same last name of the defendant that Jayme was talking about. So as they started following the car, he actually ended up pulling a little past his own house and stopping. truck. He was then pulled over for like a traffic stop, and then they instructed him to raise his hands in the air. He asked him to get out of the car and state his name, and he did. He said, "My name is Jake Patterson." He was told to step out of the vehicle, and at that time he said, "I know what this is about." And since then he has confessed to everything, to killing James and Denise, to breaking into their house, and to taking Jayme. So the defendant stated that he worked at a cheese factory, and he only worked there for 2 days before Jayme was taken. So on his drive, one of the 2 mornings that he was going to the cheese factory, he had stopped behind a school bus on US Highway 8, and he then watched Jayme get off of the school bus. He says that he had no idea who she was, and he didn't know who else lived in her house. All he stated was that when he saw Jayme, he knew he was going to take her. On his second and final day working at the cheese factory, he purchased a black colored mask from Walmart. Apparently about a week or so before Jayme was actually taken, he had gone and tried to do it again, but there was a bunch of cars in the driveway and lights, and it scared him off. And then another time he had tried to do it, but again, lights being on scared him off. And he explained to police how he put in quite a bit of thought into how he was going to take Jayme. He stole license plates off of another car, and he put them on his car just in case. He had also made some modifications to his vehicle. He removed and disconnected the dome light, and this was so that when he exited or entered the vehicle, it would not illuminate his presence. Prior to leaving his house, he took his father's 12-gauge shotgun. He shaved his face, all his facial hair, so that he wouldn't leave behind any DNA. He really thought about the gun that he was going to use. He wanted to make sure he found one that was really going to cause the most damage. He was wearing brown boots and regular blue jeans. He was wearing black gloves, black jacket, and a black mask along with that. He said he was so determined to take Jayme that night that he was prepared to kill anyone that ended up being an eyewitness. When asked what he would do if he was stopped by police on the way home, he said that he had the shotgun in the front of the car. So if a police officer had pulled him over, he was prepared to shoot them too. He estimates that he was only in the Closs house for about 4 minutes total. And once he got to his house, which was located at 14166 South Clare Acres Circle Road in Gordon, Wisconsin, he removed Jayme from his truck and brought her into his house. And he said he knew that she was terrified because she was shaking and crying, obviously. He made Jayme change into his sister's pajamas. He then took her clothing, the duct tape, his gloves, anything else, and put them into a fireplace in the basement. So after Jayme was found and recovered, there was a search warrant held on January 11th. A total of 89 pieces of evidence were recovered from the property. So afterwards, Jayme was taken to the hospital to make sure that she was okay, and they kept her there overnight. And once she was cleared by the hospital, the reunification process with her family started. Now, as for the defendant, he is only 21 years old. Yes, people, 21 years old. And he is currently being held in the Polk County Jail. He's currently being held for 2 counts of first-degree homicide for Jayme's parents and 1 count of kidnapping. He had no criminal history in the past, and he was actually a member of the Marine Corps for about a month before he was discharged in 2015 because the character of his service was incongruent with the Marine Corps expectations and standards. So hopefully the law will come down on him in a full extent. His first court appearance was January 14th. The judge set his bail at $5 million, and his next court appearance is set for February 6th at 11 a.m.
The state's recommendation regarding bail?
State is asking the court to set cash bail in the amount of $5 million. Mr. Patterson has no ties to Barron County. The allegations in the complaint are that he worked at Saputo Cheese Factory for 2 days. The only reason other than that for being in Barron County was to kidnap Jayme. State asks the court to look at the charges themselves. He's charged with 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide. Maximum sentence on each of those counts, life imprisonment. The count of kidnapping, 40 years, and the count of armed burglary, 15 years. The state asks you to consider the efforts he took to conceal himself as alleged in the criminal complaint, the modifications that he made to his vehicle so that police wouldn't find him, including stealing license plates, the fact that he disengaged his dome light to make sure that no one would be able to see him enter or exit his vehicle, the fact that he wiped down the shotgun that was located at his house, and the shells that were used to kill James and Denise by his own words so that no DNA or fingerprints would be found.
Jayme's currently staying with her aunt, Jennifer Smith. She was reunited with her dog. There's a picture of her here, and I mean, it is just so cool to see a story end this way, for sure. Now, what's crazy is that the defendant's father, Patrick Patterson, had no idea, was literally in the house, and he's been so emotionally disturbed by this. He went to go deliver a note to the Closs family. He has publicly stated that all he cares about is Jayme. He has been very emotional, clearly just feels terrible for having missed this. There's been a lot of talk about how Jayme should get the $50,000 in reward money because she saved herself, which I have to say, at first, in the first press conference, the police were like not giving her the credit that she deserved. They were all thanking themselves, giving themselves a big pat on the back when she was brave and she left herself. Like, no one else helped Jayme but her, and she deserves that reward money. So I hope that they do the right thing, but if not, if you want to help Jayme's family, I'm sure she is going to need a lot of support. I mean, geez, imagine the amount of therapy she's going to need from going through this experience. So there is a GoFundMe that the family has created to help with the costs that they have run into along the way. And there's also a page on Facebook that's really cool called Healing for Jayme Closs. And I'm just so happy to see someone reunited with their loved ones after going through something like this. It doesn't always happen, and sadly there's probably a lot of people still out there that are, you know, in some weirdo's basement or being held in human trafficking. There's so many people that are not home that it's important to remember all of them as well. But when we can have a victory like this and just feel good and you know, keep that faith alive for future cases. You know, at the end of the last Jayme video, I said, even though there's nothing, we have to keep faith alive. We have to keep hope alive. And this is why. And so always remember Jayme's case going forward, that even if it seems like the craziest case with absolutely nothing and a hopeless situation, that there is still hope there. I am so happy about this story. It's truly been a great start to 2019 to have Jayme back with her family. I mean, wow. But that's it for me today, guys. I hope you're having a great day. Stay safe, and I will talk to you next time.
Where'd you go?